The Carabao Cup returns for one last time before the World Cup break, with a host of teams from the EFL still in with a chance of progression. Liverpool started their defence at home to League One Derby. No side has more success in this competition over the last decade than Manchester City. They faced the five-time winners Chelsea. But we begin on Tuesday night in West London as Brentford welcome Gillingham, the lowest scorers in the country. Ominous for the League Two strugglers, with Brentford having thrashed Oldham 7-0 at this stage last year. Commentary comes from Oliver Wilson.
It's a cracking ball over the top, and the Gillingham defence are caught out early. It's too easy. Ivan Toney, who missed the action on the weekend through suspension, returns to the side tonight to grab his 9th goal of the season. Just 3 minutes for the Premier League club to find the breakthrough. Godos sends it into the box, cleared away. They just can't get away from their penalty area in the defensive third right now, the visitors. Plenty waiting for the delivery once more. Keeper came, didn't really get there. Godos with the header. Off the outside of the post and away. Well, surely another goal is coming. It's just a matter of time. The Premier League side in the ascendancy and getting better and better, creating more chances. That should have been 2-0. Launched over the top. Alexander, the substitute. Whipped in by McDonald. Brilliant delivery. 3 substitutes combined. Inspired changes, perhaps, as Michael Mandron pulls League Two Gillingham level against Premier League Brentford. They've barely created a sniff of a chance in 74 minutes in this encounter, but the 75th produces exactly what they wanted to perhaps cause an upset in the Carabao Cup this evening. Swung into the area, nodded down, brilliant from Turner, somehow got his leg to it. Great work by Pinnock to get his head onto it. He took a deflection. Turner didn't really know too much, but he knew just enough to get his body in the way. One-way traffic here. Brentford pushing. They don't want this to go to the lottery of the shootout. Last chance to send it in, perhaps. Headed away at the near post. And Gillingham have held on for 90 minutes. And League Two Gillingham will have a chance from the penalty shootout to go through to the 4th round. Mandron tucks it home. First blood, Gillingham. It's the other goal scorer, Toney. Easy. Adelican. Keeper goes the wrong way. Perfect after 3 penalties in this shootout. Godos tucks it home. 4 penalties in total. 4 strikes at the back of the net. 2 apiece. Very casual from Will Wright, but he gets it right. And that's all the away supporters want. De Silva, excellent penalty. 3-3. Oh, Alexander gets away with it. 4 out of 4 for Gillingham here. Tension building with every kick. Buemo. No tension whatsoever with his spot kick. Kashket sends the keeper the wrong way. One of the best we've seen from the away side so far. Has to score. Jensen does score. 5 out of 5 for both sides. Alex McDonald. Oh, it's off the underside of the crossbar. Using all the room afforded to him. Damsgaard. Oh, he's hit the frame of the goal, and it bounces away, and Brentford are out of the Carabao Cup to Sky Bet League 2 Gillingham. The away side and their supporters elated. And Gillingham go through.
When playing out from the back works, it really works. This move for Lincoln started with keeper Carl Rushworth. A few passes later and the ball was at the feet of Liverpool loanee Matty Virtue, and the Imps were ahead after just 6 minutes. Unfortunately for Bristol City, when playing out from the back doesn't work, it really doesn't work. Joseph Lowe caught on the ball, Ben House pounced, and the rest was inevitable. This was a side who'd lost to non-league Chippenham in the FA Cup at the weekend, but were now well on course to provide their own cup set with just 15 minutes gone at Ashton Gate. Home form is a real struggle for Nigel Pearson's side, with just 1 win in the last 6 coming into this one. Straight after the break, any hopes of clawing victory from the jaws of defeat were gone when Paddy O'Connor mopped up this mess. A mess is just what Pearson has on his hands at the moment. He'd later question whether his side lacked confidence or bottle. With 10 minutes to go, Tommy Conway did pull one back for the home side, but the damage had been done. The Imps never really looked like conceding 3. Although the Robins missed another chance late on when Chris Martin failed to properly connect with the lively Conway's cross. Lincoln into the 4th round of the Carabao Cup for just the 2nd time in their history.
Wholesale changes, but eyes on a prized place in the last 16 for Bournemouth and Everton. Having reshuffled their packs, who would blink first? Everton, as it turned out. Just 7 minutes in, Jamal Lowe's strike, James Garner's big looping deflection, defeating Asmir Begovic. If that wasn't pretty, this was even less so. Anthony Gordon grateful VAR wasn't on duty after his challenge on Jordan Zamura, still his 7th yellow in 14 games this season. Just 2 minutes after the break and following Mason Holgate's slip, Ryan Christie pounced, and via Jamal Lowe, Junior Stanislas did the rest. 2-0, the Vitality Stadium vibrant. After losing 4 in a row, Gary O'Neill's side seizing the day away from Premier League pressure. But Bournemouth fans have become wary of 2-goal leads lately, having seen them overturned in their last 2 games. And sure enough, the nerves kicked back in. Sub Damari Gray eager to make his presence felt, pulling one back midway through the second half. But chasing a first major trophy since 1995, Everton slowly began to lose their way. After Begovic saved from Lowe 12 minutes from time, Emiliano Marcondes allowed Bournemouth to breathe a little more easily again. And the job was well and truly finished soon after. Patterson's lapse this time, Jayden Anthony securing Bournemouth's safe passage. They may be finding life tough going in the league, but progress into the last 16 of the Carabao Cup might just give them the boost they're looking for.
Still to come, the best of Wednesday night's action with no fewer than 5 all Premier League ties. Next up, a rerun of the 2019 final between the Manchester City and Chelsea have won this competition 13 times, with City lifting the cup in 4 of the last 5 years. A standout fixture. John Roeder got to watch it.
Hall. Kovacic. Pulisic. Look at Lewis Hall making a run on the Chelsea left. Pulisic goes all the way almost. Ortega with the save to push it behind for the corner. Just allowed to come forward from the halfway line. And Laporte caught in the follow-through just there. That was heading in. Hakim Ziyech now for Chelsea. Pulisic. Lewis Hall. Hall with the chance for a shot. Can't find a way past Ortega. That was probably the best chance of the first half for either of these two sides. Paul couldn't seize the moment. Did the hard work, turned inside the defender. Blocked by Ortega to keep it at 0-0 as we approach half-time. Good spell at this for Manchester City. Oh, that's a foul, isn't it? Yes, it is. Chalobah. And will surely see yellow. Indeed he does. So that's two of Chelsea's defenders booked now. It's Riyad Mahrez. It's 1-0 Manchester City. Perfectly placed free kick past Edouard Mendy. Mahrez gets his 4th goal of the season and his 4th goal in his last 7 appearances in all competitions. Palmer wins it and was then fouled by Pulisic and takes the free kick quickly. Grealish. Alvarez. Crossfield ball looking for Mahrez. Mahrez faced by Cucurella. Mahrez pushed away, turned in by Alvarez. 2 goals in quick succession for Manchester City. Alvarez getting his 7th goal of the season. 3 in the Premier League, 3 in the Champions League, and now 1 in the Carabao Cup. Perfect second half for Manchester City so far. They've scored twice, and they lead Chelsea by 2 goals to 0. Loftus-Cheek. Ziyech. Oh, he's found a way through here. Here comes Ziyech. Chance for Chelsea. And again, Lewis Hall is foiled by Stefan Ortega. He must be getting the feeling it is not going to be his night. Terrific turn from Ziyech. Hall arriving, but Ortega recovering superbly to push it away. 2 second-half goals have won it for Manchester City and seen them safely through to the next round of the Carabao Cup. Riyad Mahrez with the first from a free kick. Julian Alvarez getting the second for the home side just a few minutes later. Manchester City 2, Chelsea 0.
Well, he did watch most of it. I wonder who he's texting. Southampton not managerless for long, it would seem. Jones's appointment drawing ever nearer. Sheffield Wednesday's last victory at the Saints was when the South Coast club were Del Boys. It was soon lovely jubbly for Josh Windass, FA Cup scorer on Friday night, a Wednesday wonder in the Carabao. Coach Ruben Sellers in temporary charge of the home team after Ralph Hasenhüttl's departure. From James Ward-Prowse's trademark free kick, David Stockdale produced a contender for save of the round after Joe Aribo's flick. On the stroke of half-time, with the tie looking like a banana skin for the hosts, things went pear-shaped for the visitors. Musa Djenepo's run bearing fruit as Marvin Johnson challenged him. A final audition for the England squad for Ward-Prowse. Prowess from the spot fully expected and demonstrated. There was a time when a teenage Theo Walcott was thrown in as a World Cup wildcard. Now a veteran, he came off the bench and after a Stockdale error, he tried twice to make an instant impact, but Michael Ahikwe foiled him on both occasions. Back over to JWP, who certainly has the full repertoire of dead ball deliveries up his sleeve. This one slotted for Stuart Armstrong, a crossbar rattler rather than a match winner. The visitors were hanging on. Sub Reece James looked like he'd brought Walcott down. The hosts hoped for a foul and a red card. Heart in the mouth time for those in blue and white, but nothing wrong with that, said the ref. They just about made it to the shootout, onto the 12-yard lottery. Penalty perfection for the first 5 for each side. Walcott stepped up to make it 6-5. Could Dominic Iorfa keep the Owls in it? McCarthy's trailing leg had the answer to that question. The top-flight outfit into the last 16, just, much to the satisfaction of the boss in waiting, he'll inherit a relieved camp.
With Ben Brereton Diaz once again linked with a move in January, a trip to Premier League opposition presented the ideal chance for one of his understudies to show what he can do. Jack Vale's calmly taken first goal for Blackburn, showing why he was rewarded with a new contract last month. There were 11 changes for both sides coming into this, with Pablo Fornals looking to build on his recent double in the Europa Conference League. And Mikel Antonio muscled his way through. A lucky bouncer for Blackburn defender allowed Fornals to swivel and finish. Having hit just 1 goal in 33 games, that's now 3 in a week. But this Blackburn team have surprised everyone this season, with 5 wins from their last 6 in the Championship. Connor Coventry almost gifted them a second. Dylan Markande couldn't beat Naya for good on the line. West Ham created a host of second-half chances, with Antonio somehow missing here. He'd had a torrid week after VAR overruled a penalty he thought he'd won in Sunday's defeat to Palace. His luck did turn though as Rovers finally appeared to run out. A long ball over the top fell invitingly for Antonio to score. Blackburn have yet to draw a single match this season, a record that looks set to continue until 2 minutes from time. When they needed a moment of inspiration, their talisman delivered. Off the bench, Brereton Diaz, underlining why so many top-flight teams are after him. And so to penalties it went. Teenager Jake Garrett was the 19th player to step up, and like all those before him, he converted to heap the pressure on Angelo Ogbonna. Just as the keepers were preparing to step up, Ogbonna cracked the bar with his spot kick. A memorable night for the 2001 winners. Once upon a time, Liverpool and Derby were Premier League rivals, now separated by 2 divisions, and victory for the League One side at Anfield would represent a big upset. Watching to see if that could happen, Dave Farrell.
That's a good ball in from Mendes-Lang. Cashin it was who leapt and couldn't divert it under the crossbar. There's the threat of Mendes-Lang. Does have that rare ability to find those angles without really finding half a yard. Oxlade-Chamberlain, big deflection, super save. Wildsmith just managed to change direction, but still there's a threat. Ramsey's cross. Well, it would have been so hard on Derby. Wildsmith did wonderfully well. Elliott's continued his run! Oh, terrific save again! For the second time it was Wildsmith. Even with 11 changes, Jurgen Klopp would have expected and hoped to have won the game, but it finishes Liverpool 0, Derby County 0. We go to penalty kicks. It's going to be Derby to kick first. It will be David McGoldrick. This to put Derby in front. Never in doubt. Can he keep his cool here? By Chitic, oh, he saved it! Former Villa player, Horehan, oh, great save, Kelleher. Guessed right, it wasn't an awful penalty that. They're doing everything they can to put off Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Wildsmith comes again from behind his line, and it's tucked away nervelessly. Needs to steady the ship here. Gets on with it quickly, Kelleher again! Guessed right again! This to put Liverpool in front for the first time in the shootout. And Firmino, miles over the bar. Remarkably, after 3 penalties each, it's only 1 each. It's dramatic though. Can Kelleher do it again? It's Louis Sibley. Fantastic penalty. this to make it 2-2. Big run up here from Nunez. Only just. It's the Everton loanee, Lewis Dobbin, to try and put Derby in front and put huge pressure on Liverpool's final take-up. It's Dobbin! Oh, Kelleher! It's his glory night again in this competition. After a night that has proved longer and tougher than it should, Liverpool have a chance to win it. Harvey Elliott scored in the shootout at Wembley when they won this EFL Cup. Now Elliott to slot home and put Liverpool through in a dramatic penalty shootout. And it finished Liverpool 0, Derby 0. Liverpool win it 3-2 on penalties.
Brighton made the better start at the Emirates. Jeremy Sarmiento tried his luck from distance. The Ecuador international making just his third start for the Seagulls after injury hampered his progress last season. The shoot-on-sight style continued for the visitors, with another South American youngster given the chance to impress on the big stage. Julio Enciso's effort took a similar trajectory. Mikel Arteta's side sit top of the Premier League, but it's been 30 years since they last won this trophy. However, in Eddie Nketiah, they have a Carabao Cup specialist. His 20th minute opener made it 11 goals in 12 appearances in this competition. Brighton have been impressive under new boss Roberto De Zerbi. His Midas touch has extended as far as Danny Welbeck, the former Arsenal man brought down by debutant Carl Hayne. The 20-year-old Latvian had an immediate chance to win over the Arsenal faithful, but Welbeck won the battle. His first of the season, Brighton level 7 minutes after going behind. Just after the break, the Carabao Cup king almost added to his stunning record. Nketiah's shot pushed onto the post by Jason Steele. The Brighton keeper had made only one appearance so far this season, playing in the last round of this competition, but he was on for man of the match after denying Reece Nelson. Key to Brighton's recent winning run has been Japanese midfielder Karo Mitoma. De Zerbi had left him out of the starting 11, but an appearance from the bench turned this match around. A second goal in 5 days, Brighton in front for the first time in the match. They extended their lead with 20 minutes to go. Tariq Lamptey with a goal that surely signalled Arsenal's wait to lift this trophy would be extended by another year. Arteta brought on some of his Premier League regulars in an attempt to get back into this match, but Gabriel Martinelli couldn't beat Steele either. De Zerbi making life in England look easy as his side progressed to the next round.
Things have been going swimmingly for Newcastle this season. Now a deep dive into a cup run was on the radar. But informed Crystal Palace were on the front foot early. Nick Pope on his toes to deny Jean-Philippe Mateta. For both sides, this was a realistic route to silverware. But James Tompkins' early second half back pass was never going to find its intended destination. Chris Wood all over it. Sam Johnston did just enough. Newcastle were trying to feed off the momentum gained from 4 consecutive league wins. With the goal at his mercy, Dan Burn really might have done better. Newcastle had lost only one of their previous 16 home games and slowly stepped up the pressure. Miguel Almiron denied an 8th goal in 8 appearances by Johnston. The two sides shared a goalless Premier League draw at St James's Park in early September. Another stalemate always on the cards here. Penalties saw the keepers take centre stage again. Luka Mijovic outthought by Nick Pope. Joe Linton was determined he wouldn't suffer the same fate. Mission accomplished. Mateta stepped up to try his luck against Pope. Again, the Newcastle keeper guessed right by going left. Bruno Guimaraes opted for an extravagant run-up. The penalty really didn't live up to expectations. Eventually, it came down to Malcolm Iboe to keep Palace hopes alive. But Pope became the newly ordained Tyneside folk hero. Newcastle were the 1976 League Cup runners-up. They might just fancy their chances of going one better this season.
5 teams from the EFL went through on Tuesday night, with Burnley beating Crawley and MK Dons overcoming Morecambe. Gillingham and Charlton went through on penalties, while Bournemouth hammered Frank Lampard's Everton. Penalties were the theme on Wednesday night, with Blackburn overcoming West Ham. But Southampton and Liverpool avoided the same fate, having both been pushed all the way by League One opposition. Impressive wins too for Brighton at Arsenal and Forest against Spurs. The draw for the last 16 takes place after Thursday's clash between Manchester United and Villa, but we leave you with the best of the action from round 3. Until next time, goodbye for now.